Okay, so you can see that the interface is over here. Your Java class for the main code is over here, and my test is going to be here. Okay, so we are mostly going to look at how each of the objects are written in this session. Okay, so let me go back to my browser. So what so first action for us is going to be to open the browser, right? So how do we invoke a browser?
WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox driver.
Yeah. Okay, so this time for cleanliness, I would also like you guys to start practicing this in the same way. Okay, instead of having everything under the main function, we'll start making separate functions and methods for each of them. Okay, so I will say public. Okay, open URL, and okay, so this is now going to do the work of opening and leading me to the web page that I want to go to. Okay, so we have our first line, which is WebDriver, right? WebDriver. Oh, can any of you guess why that's not shown? Of course, I've opened it, but yeah, it's because I forgot to copy the dependency. Save, come back. Oh wait, my form is showing an error. Okay, so the reason I put this up, okay, so with public static WebDriver driver, my WebDriver driver is now publicly available to all my scripts throughout, and it's the same driver that's now available. So if I were to do this, okay, and just have it here, and then equal to new Firefox, okay, so if I had done this, this would be available only to this method, okay, or the script wherever I want to call open URL. But considering we are handling it with multiple scripts, you need control of the same browser. So we're going to make use of this driver functionality among all our scripts. Okay, so I'm going to make this public and static, have that here, and here I'll just have driver, new Firefox driver. Okay, so now this new instance of Firefox driver is assigned to this, which is now publicly available. Okay, and then I will say, how do I open a URL? Don't see, you should know all this by now.
Get driver.get.
Yeah. Okay.
Open bracket. Send the URL.
Let's make this to, so I will say URL. Okay, and I'll have a parameter here called string URL. Okay, so whatever I pass this to this function will automatically get passed into this. Yeah. So now I go to my main function, main test over here. Okay, and I will say here open URL. Okay, and copy this. So it is under main test dot.
Why we are going through
Sorry.
such a complex thing instead of how we declared earlier in previous class. Driver, declaring the driver over here and receiving the thing. Why we are going to the interface and calling that function over here.
I'll tell you. The main reason for you to be able to organize all this, have a main code from or a main method for you to just call the driver and share the same driver is for you to be able to maintain that script tomorrow. Okay, so if you have just one file which is a collection of object per page, it is really easy. Imagine having your XPath in 10,000 lines of code. Tomorrow if something changes, you will have to go through 10,000 lines of code to change all of those XPath. But here with just one place with one reference, you change in one place, it'll reflect everywhere. Get it? Tomorrow, if I do not want to run this test on Firefox, I want to run this on Chrome. I don't have to touch my test. You should never touch your test. You should always just make changes on these two files. So I will just come here, change it to Chrome driver, and the entire script will automatically run on Chrome driver. I don't have to again go through my internal code and everything. So that's the reason we are organizing. This is the first step towards building a framework of your own, like the first step. So that was my main intention of telling you why this is test slash Java, because the first thing when you create a Maven project, a lot of you guys asked me, why is this main slash Java, why is it test slash Java, why is this resource, this is the reason, because our tests are always written here. So even when these guys do unit testing, so their unit testing test cases always sit under test. Same way for us as well for functional testing. So all the dirty code that now that's doing your click action, yahan pe jao, go click on this action, all that will now sit under this main code, and that's just one place where everything is going to sit. So for each page, you'll technically have a .java file to make it more broken up and easy to maintain, but I think that will come a little more later. For now, this structure is a lot better. It's fine for now. Okay. So now what this main test will simply do is it will open that Firefox driver and it will redirect to this. Okay. So from here on, now if tomorrow ESPN slash cricket becomes something else.
So main code dot open your main code is the reference, right?
Yeah, main code is my class name.
Okay, class reference plus dot the object.
Okay, dot the method name. Okay. The same way, we'll create the actual test now. Technically speaking, your driver class should be a separate class file of its own, but we don't need all that right now. Okay. So I will just call this as main action, because it is doing our main action, right? So let me delete all this. Okay, so first now the URL is open. Okay, what is our first action? We are clicking on scores and fixtures, so I will simply just say driver dot. Okay, so no matter where I call this driver dot now, I can always have a reference to this main driver. Okay, so driver dot find elements by So we are using XPath today. Okay, so I will say XPath, and for now let's leave it like this, and I will say dot click. So now this action will click my scores and fixtures button. Okay, so I want it to wait for some time because it's going to load. So I will say thread.sleep. We'll get rid of thread.sleep later on as we move on. Best way to handle thread.sleep is to always have it under try and catch, but for now declaration is fine. Okay, so once we click on our scores and fixtures, the page will load. So we're waiting for the page to load, and then we want to click on our all series page. Okay, so I will call this web element. Okay, and I will say all series button element equals, copy this, and you should import this. So now what this line of code will do, so we are clicking on the all series button, right? So this will return the all series button element and store that element into this. That's why it's called web element. Okay, so now when I have to do any action on this certain web element, I can just, because it's already called, I can just say dot click. Okay, and this will open up the drop down. Okay, once the drop down is opened, put another thread.sleep. 2 seconds, and you say you want to click on the second element. Okay, so let's copy paste this here. Okay, so for us to comment it, I will say clicks, scores and fixtures button. Okay, get web element of all series button or drop down click all series. Select any series from drop down. Okay, so this is going to be our main actions. Okay, we're going to get scores and fixtures, get the element from the drop down, click on the drop down button, and then select any of the series from the drop down. Okay, we can also add verification. We'll see if we have time. We can add a simple verification to it as well. Okay, so now we have to start filling up the XPath. So first, let's look at scores and fixtures button. Okay, so you go to your browser. Okay, you have your scores and fixtures button. Okay, just do an inspect element. Okay, so it'll show you where it is showing, what that XML is and the tag belongs to for that button over here. So you can see if you have hover, it is actually showing it over there. Okay, for us to be able to write an XPath, let me just close this. Okay, so for the convenience sake, I'm going to have my this thing open. Okay, my Firebar. So, okay. So if you see this element A over here, okay, if you see the mouse, I'm hovering on A. If you can see that scores and fixtures are actually getting highlighted. Okay, so if I actually go use Firebug and Firepath and then go click on that over here, you can see that it actually gives you the XPath, but I don't want to make use of that. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to make my own XPath. So uh, while writing XPath, you have a certain convention. Okay, so one convention is you have your dot // is standard for any XPath starting. Okay, and then you have your tag name. Okay, and then inside your square brackets, okay, you have your attribute name, okay, equals value. Okay, this is one convention of having to write your XPath. Okay, so remember, tag name, attribute name, and the value of the attribute. So now let's see what's tag name, attribute name, and value. So you can see I'm hovering over this A over here. So that is called a tag. Okay, so that is going to be my tag name. Okay, so now I'll do / A. Okay, so now that I know my tag name, okay, everything that's under that tag, all of these are called your attributes. You know, all of your item prop, your href, your name, all of those are actually called attribute. Okay, so I will open brackets at, okay, so I'm going to use name equals, so the value of the name is now this, right? So I'm going to copy that, okay, and then say so much. Okay, Control C, and if I press enter, okay, it, can you see that Firepath directly took me to that? Okay, so see, it's that simple, but in comparison to what we have extracted right now, and if you see, if you hover on it, it's actually still showing you scores and fixtures. But the same thing, if I use an XPath, look at the difference. Look at this path and everything that's showing. We'll get to that as well, but it's a lot less brittle than what Firebug and Firepath shows over here, because you are using something that's unique over here to identify it, and that's just name. It makes it like 5% less brittle than using a path.
It is single quote after the value.
Yes,
name?
yes, the value is inside single quotes. Okay, so I'm going to take this. Okay, I'm going to go into my interface now. Okay, I'm going to have all my declarations inside this interface. Okay, so I'm going to say public, okay, static void, this is scores and fixtures button equals, and have that inside it. Oh, sorry, string. Okay, so I have it over here now. So all I'll do is come to my main code here, right? So I will say objects dot scores and fixtures button, okay, and it automatically populates. So tomorrow, if imagine that XPath of that particular button changes, or the button from that position moves to something else, you have to change something in the object. I just come here and I just change this over here, and it's reflected in say 100 such tests that you would probably have. Okay, that's the importance of this. Okay, so this is one way of having to write your XPath. So always remember, it is tag name,
plus attribute
okay,
name
attribute name
and the name that
equals
value
to the value. You can give anything for this. So for example, so not just name. So I can give see, it should be unique. That's the point. So if I probably give item prop URL, there'll probably be many of them. Okay. I don't know if href is unique. Oh, it is unique. So you can use href as well. No, it's not unique actually. Yeah, it's there's something else as well. So there's this element, which is the button in itself, and there's an other element. So the attribute and the value that you pick should be unique.
and this, instead of name we can give like anything.
Anything, yeah, it should just be unique. So if there is class that is unique, you can give class. If there is ID, you can give ID. Attribute is anything that falls inside that tag.
Okay.
All right. So that's one way of doing it. So imagine you do not know what the attribute, sorry, the tag name is, because you'll have a lot of a tags, you'll have a lot of input tags. You never know. You have a lot of div tags, okay, but you are unaware. But you know, say the name, the unique name for that, okay. You just say name here, or anything unique, ID, anything that's unique, and I just remove the a and I put a star, and it'll still point to that. It'll check every tag that's there for this unique name.
Where you put the stars
In place of the this thing, the tag name. It'll, if you replace the tag name with a star, it'll check all the tags for that unique name or unique attribute and attribute value. That's what it does. Okay.
check all the tags.
So that's one. That's another tip. So next we'll have to build our path. So you guys can help me make uh, the XPath for the all series element now that you have seen one. Okay. So let's go to scores and fixtures. Yeah. So this now is uh, your path, your XML path for that certain button. So how do you guys think that I can build an unique XPath referring to that button now that you have seen an example? How? So I will say dot slash slash and star. Okay.
We take class.
Okay.
Class will be repeated. We use
At class, so you can take the help of div and you can take the help of button. So think class. If you do want to try class and see, there might be two classes with the same name. Because even this is a drop down. No, I think it's unique. Okay, so you have used star. We can also replace that star with button. Okay. So just make sure that's unique. Yeah. So I'll come here, same thing that I'm going to do that I did previously. And I'll call this all series button. Okay, so take a reference of this. Put it into here. Okay, so now it'll click on scores and fixtures. Okay, it'll get you the web element of the all series drop down, and over here it'll click that element for you. Okay, so now once it has clicked that all series button, it'll open this drop down for you. Okay, and in this drop down, as you can see, you have a lot of elements. Okay, so it is a good possibility that all those drop down elements will have other than probably the name, the way they are shown in this will all be the same. They'll all be belonging to the same class and stuff. They may not even have a name. So we'll have to then, traverse through uh, to that particular element in a list and then pick it. Okay, and when I mean a list, so all series, India tours of Zimbabwe 2016, all this is actually a list that appears under the drop down. Okay, for a better understanding, if you go to that element, okay, click on that, just make this bigger. Okay, so here you can see that your div is your drop down button. Okay, so once that drop down button is out, so you can see you have li over here. That li is actually a list tag. So if I open that up, okay, and you can see you can see the list of elements. See, for example, you can see India tour of Zimbabwe 2016 over here. Okay, with the redirection path and everything. So in this you can see there's nothing that's really sort of unique. Let me open two so that you guys can see it more clearly. Okay, so if you can see the class under A, React root link or whatever, it's the same as this. Get it?
Yeah.
So there are chances that some things may not be unique in such cases. Okay, so now how will I click this second option or third option or whatever XYZ option under that? So for that we'll need to traverse through. Okay, so for us to traverse through, this can get a little confusing. Okay, let's delete that and go up. Let me make this full screen as large as I can actually. Okay, always find a tag that has an ID. Okay, so I see here it's called section main container. Okay, so I see ID scored page. Okay, so let's minimize it all. Let's start from here. So I will say dot slash slash. Okay, so I'm using div tag. Okay, under div I'm using ID. Okay, equals, okay, scoreboard page, scoreboard page. So what this will now do is redirect us into this section. Okay, so but I want to traverse through the all series. So if I press enter over here, So you can see it actually highlights the scoreboard page. Okay, so we want to go to not the day picker, the events list, right? So let me just okay, it's under header div ul. Okay, so okay, so we had this before, so let's replace with this div. Okay, so next we have to go to the header. So you can see there are multiple child nodes under this main div node. Okay, so I just do slash header. Okay, so now this will direct this XPath to this header. So it's almost like you're opening and closing the child nodes. Okay, so now this will open the header. Okay, and under the header you can see it has h1 and something called as div. So I need to traverse to div. So I'll say div. Okay, so imagine if there was a third div under this. Okay, so this, if I just put div, it'll automatically select the first one. If I want to select the second one, I would have to do this, and it will select the second div. Okay,
So index number.
yeah, index. Okay, so considering we have only one div, we don't need it. Okay, slash, so this will get opened now. Okay, we have button and we have ul. Okay, so we need ul. So div, wait, I think we missed something. Header div, there's another div before that. So you have div and then span, which you have missed. Div. Okay, so header div and then div again. So this will get opened up now, and then ul, so this will get opened up now. Okay, and then you have your complete list of elements. Okay, so if I do slash li now, okay, can you see that everything is getting selected? So we will have to tell the XPath to just select one among them. Okay, the same way how we saw what we did with the divs.
So index.
Yes. Not too bad. Don't disturb. Go. Okay. Okay, so if I want to select the second one, assuming, okay, I will just say 2. Okay, so if I see, automatically just selected 2. So I'm going to copy this.
Here indexing starts from 0 or 1?
1.
1.
That is for particular this one. For selecting the all?
All of them, just remove that 2 index.
It
It will select the entire list, yeah.
And dot text, it will copy, print all the things, right? The list.
Dot, if you do dot get text, then it will get, and then you can print everything. Yeah. So I will go here and I'll call it second series. Okay, because it is the second option. I'll come to my main code, replace this with this, and I should save it. So do you guys have any doubts so far about writing your own XPath? Pretty simple, right?
So in another way, after locating the element of that all series, we can write a Java code creating an array. Then also we can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
That is more complex.
Yeah, you can essentially write a for loop,
Yeah.
keep all the
Iterate
list
over,
inside
yeah.
that and iterate for it to click each of them. Yes.
That also.
Which one?
What is that loop and all?
वो भी दिखाओ.
Next
A
time.
lot later. A lot later.
Is there right in the syllabus?
Definitely.
तू जानता है ना? तू भी जानता है. मैं जानना जल्दी है.
वो रोहन दिखाएगा but तू थोड़ा पढ़ ले. Okay.
Okay, so now if you see, I've called my main code in my test. Okay, let me save that. Let's see if this will run. So it redirects to your Cricket. That means our open URL is working. So you saw it clicked on scores and fixtures. I think it'll go into sleep for 5 seconds now.
By default, thread.sleep takes unit seconds as milliseconds.
Yeah, millisecond.
Milliseconds.
I think it's taking a lot more longer than 5 seconds to load. Oh, okay. It clicked on all series. Okay, and it selected the second series. Pretty simple, right? So this was how you write XPath.
I think today this much, right?
Yes.
नहीं बाकी होते रह गया ना.
नहीं ये भी प्रैक्टिस करना नहीं तो नहीं होगा.
हाँ वो बात सही है.
/
मुझे संदीप समझाया तो मैं भूल गया.
That will also work. But it's just dot convention is that way. Yeah.
Actually, when I was working on your task, right, that time I got to know.
Ah.
Because I struggled with it when it comes into picture. This dot. If we don't use dot, with // it will start from the root.
Root, yes.
That's what.
Yes.
Please tell me the difference. What is the difference / and
No, you always use dot. It is a little faster.
No, for means.
See, XPath in general is very slow convention. Okay, CSS selector is 10 times more faster than XPath. 10 times more faster.
So that will also go through manually, right? CSS.
Yes, next session. Thursday session, we'll see how
No,
to
like
create the same
people
script in
will ask
CSS.
why I'm not using this dot and you are using this. Why
Generally you have to.
Generally,
Yeah, you have to. It is the syntax that is followed by XML. That is what XPath is. It is a syntax that defines your XML document.
Now you shared this main code and object this both the classes.
Okay. So I'm stopping the session. How do I stop the session?
You share, no? Jaldi.